Hi, grade fives. Welcome to IXL for today. We've got a little bit of a different thing happening, so we're going to see how this works. We're going to continue working with section X, and that is doing symmetry and transformations. So up until today, we have covered X, 1, 2, and 3. So we've looked at symmetry, lines of symmetry. We've looked at rotational symmetry. We've looked at our transformations. So we've got translations, we've got rotation, we've got reflection. So now we're going to be combining some of those to see what we need to do on some of these combinations. So let's look at X4 and X5 today. Let's start just reminding ourselves what each of these things mean. So remember, your overall thing, heading would be transformations, and that is all of your changes that have happened. So you have got 3 different ones. You've got translate, and that is a slide across. You've got rotate, which is like a turn, and you have also got reflect. And this is the mirror image if you were to flip it over a certain line. So this is what you need to remember as your overall understanding of what these words mean. So let's look at today's question. So what combination of transformations is shown below? So we start at number 1, we then go to number 2, and then number 3. So how did we get from number 1 to number 2? Now we can see that it is looking the opposite direction, and so you would have made a mirror image of this guy, right? And you can see it's not on this line, which is directly along the shape. That's not the line that we're using. We're actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 little blocks in between, and so half of those blocks will be for one side and half of the blocks will be another side. So you would rotate it, or it reflected over that line over there. So from 1 to 2, you have reflected. So reflect. And then to get from number 2 to number 3, we have kept it in exactly the same form. We haven't turned or flipped it. We have just moved it across. That's that slide that we're talking about. So the big word we want to use is translate. So in that order, this is what we're looking for. So let's look at the options that they've given to us. Let's just erase those. Okay, so we have got first reflect, reflection. There are 2 options with reflection. This one, translate, translation. So it's first reflection and then translation. So that is the option that we're going to pick for this specific question. Okay, so let's look at this one now. What combination of transformations is shown below? So we're going to erase this one because that was last time. Okay, so from 1 to 2, along this line over here, it has been flipped over and it's a mirror image. What was that one called again? When you flip, you reflect. So reflection. And then from 2 to 3, you are turning it on this little spot. If you were to put your finger right here on this dot here, you would then rotate it across that way and it would land well. So first one is reflection, and our second movement or action or transformation is called a rotation. So you can see that it was lying down and now it's standing straight up. All right, so let's see reflection and then rotation. All right, let's look at this one. Remember, you can pause, see if you agree, and then you can try it again. Question is, what combination of transformations is shown below? You've got to start at number 1, go to number 2, and then number 3. So from number 1, I have slid it straight up. It's the same. The long part is at the top. The short part is at the bottom. So that first part there is called translation. All right, where you slide it from one spot to the next. And then from number 2 to number 3, I can now see that at the bottom, it is now the short side that's gone from the bottom around to the right-hand side. And so whenever that changes its direction, then you know that there's been a rotation involved. So translation was the first one, and then we rotated rotation. Okay, let's have a look and see what our options are that they've given to us. Translation first, and then reflection, no. Translation, and then rotation, there it is. All right, great. Let us move on to X5. And here we are going to go on to the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane, remember, is for your 4 quadrants that you were looking at before in a couple of sections ago. I'm going to keep up this, this little section here that reminds us what each one of them are and what you have to do. So we're going to start with this triangle. And we're going to rotate this triangle 90 degrees clockwise around the point 3, 2, which is the resulting triangle. I have just put on there that this is a coordinate plane that I've got, and I've got my little shape, which is exactly that. Now, the question that it asked, let's just quickly look at that again. The question that we asked, it says, rotate the triangle 90 degrees clockwise. So I'm going to just write that here, 90 degrees clockwise around the point 3, 2, and which is the resulting triangle. So let's go back to our page here. Right? So we want the, I've just written it down here, 3, 2. So this section, remember, we always have X first and then Y. So X is along this side. This part here is X, and this part here is Y. I'll write it a little bit lower so that you can still see it on the screen. Okay. So X is 3, so we go 1, 2, 3, and Y is 2, so we go up to 2. So this is the point 3, 2. So if we were to hold that triangle right there, and we rotate it 90 degree clockwise. Now, if you were looking, if we just look at this, we've got our clockwise, right? We've got 12 at the top. We've got 6, 3, and 9. 1, 2. All right, we're going clockwise, which means we're going in that direction. All right, and we're going 90 degrees. So it should form a right angle exactly at that point. All right, so you are rotating it that way at a 90 degree angle. So that means that we're going to hold this over here and we're going to rotate it so that one of these angles forms a 90 degree angle. If you were to draw a straight line down this side, it would have to go at a perpendicular part. You guys learned your perpendicular. It would have to form a corner of that square. So we're going to rotate this shape until this line, this part of this triangle is facing straight up that way. Okay? We're going to keep it on that point because that's the point where we're rotating it. So let's go. All right, 90 degrees clockwise. let's see, what have we ended up with? Over there, we have ended up with our figure looking like this, right? Straight up to the 5 and going down that way. All right, can you see how that looks? Keep a good look at that one. It needs to be at that point there, which is 1 and 5, sticking on the 3 and 2, and then 4 and 4. So let's see if that's one of the options that they've given us here in these options here. Okay, so we've got a 5 and a 1, a 4 and a 4, and a 3 and a 2. Okay, so this one, B, is the one that we are going to be going with. All right? Great. Let's look at this one. Start with this triangle. And we need to rotate this 90 degrees clockwise around the point 3 and 3. So which is the resulting triangle? So let's look again at our coordinate plane here. Right, we've got, these are the spots where it has asked us to go. And the question was 90 degrees clockwise around point 3, 3. So 3, remember, X is first and Y is second. X is along this way and Y is at the top going up and down. Remember, an easy way to remember that is when you have the Y has a hanging tail, so it goes down, right? X does not. Okay, so clockwise, again, we remember it goes around the clock that way, clockwise. And 90 degree, it must form a right angle. So at the point 3, 3, which is here, which means that this line here needs to form a right angle and would need to go straight down this line instead, right? So there it forms your right angle. So we're going to keep it on that point and we're going to rotate it, rotate it, rotate it until it lands exactly there. All right, so this is where our new triangle is going to go. So it was over here. Let's just draw the outline of it so you can see where it went from and to where it's going. Okay, so rotate on that point and it ends up over here. All right, so we have got 3 and 3, we've got 3 and 0, and then we've got 6 and 2. So let's see if we can find one of those as in our options. There we go, going straight down. Do you see that? So again, our answer is B. Okay, now some of you can see this in your mind's eye without having to draw or figure it out with paper. Some people are quick at understanding this, some are needing the actual hard paper and things. How you do this, I will give you a step-by-step after this question. Let's see again, if you can figure it out without drawing, then just press pause, get to your answer, and then come back and check with us. Let's go ahead and look at this question. Here it says rotate the triangle 180 degrees around the point 4 and 3, and which is the resulting triangle. So let's have a look at it on our coordinate plane. So looking at this triangle, it's saying rotate it 100 degrees around the point 4 and 3. Remember, X, Y. It's always alphabetical. So in case you forget it, that's how you remember, right? So X is 4 and Y is 3. So this is the point that we need to rotate it around. It is saying we need to rotate it 180 degrees. So that means 2 90s, right? 2 90 degrees. We've got a 90 degree there, and we've got another 90 degree there. So that makes this as a straight line. So 180 degrees forms a straight line. And so the line that goes from there must continue as a straight line. This is where we want to rotate it until that line forms a straight line going that way. All right, and then we know that we have rotated it 180 degrees. Some of you can picture this already and would be able to draw it. Others of you, this is all you need to be able to get to the answer, right? Knowing that that's got to go like that, and the one point is going to end here. The other point's obviously going to stay where it was because you're rotating around that point and form a straight line, and the rest you just figure out by looking at the options. Let's try it though this way. If we were to rotate this and we rotate it all the way around, keep it on that point until it has formed a straight line, then that's going to be our end result. Okay, so it was over here. Let's redraw that to see where it's coming from. We had it like this, right? And we rotated it all the way around that point there until it formed a straight line. Okay, and so it will go straight down like that. So let's have a look. We're at 5 and 0, we're at 2 and 3, and we're at 4 and 3. All right, this point will always remain one of the points on your answer, the one that they gave you. All right, so let's look at the options they gave us. And there it is. If you form that 180 degrees, let's just show you on this one. If you were to continue your line going straight from here around that point, your straight line would have to go like that. Okay, so that would get you to, and it's 2 blocks long. So it would stay as long and it would end over here. And now this is the, that would be one option. If it's up, it would have to go down. As a result, it would be the opposite, right? It would be the exact opposite. So it wouldn't go up again like in this one. Nope. Here your line is going straight up. That would be a different, it would go that way, which would be anti-clockwise, and it would then form a right angle. So that would be a 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So that's not correct. This is the correct one that we're working with. Okay. So C is the option. So what I was going to show you is how do you do this page option that I've been doing. It does take a lot longer. So if you can try to get around this without having to use a page, I just wanted you to be able to see it in your mind's eye. But all I'm doing is I am taking this shape and I am copying it onto my paper. So I can, I take my page, let me switch this over for you. I take my paper and I take another piece of paper, like a blank or a colored piece, can be white, it really doesn't matter. And I can see through, I can see a very faint little grid underneath it, and I would draw my shape of whatever it was, and I would follow what it is on the screen, and then I would cut that out and I would place it onto the grid, and then I would be able to rotate it. All right, so that is my step-by-step of how to do that. Okay, all right, I hope that that helps you understand it a little bit better, and that you will be able to work on your page from here on. Have a good day from here, and I will see you on a Zoom call later today. Have a great one. Ciao for now.